Finale. Admirable and Mean Mr. Keen. Take it away.
2 more games left. We will have our top 4. We will have our champion. We'll find out who's going to Worlds, who's going to Regionals. But until then, we're going to have 2 more games to figure it out. If you're in Robin or DQA spot, you are looking for first and first alone. If you're in Amde spot, you are looking for some not bot 4s. Amde gets to keep playing TFT. Clear gets to keep playing TFT. Kurumx and Bertasaurus pretty much in the same spot. But these bottom 4 finishes we have right now, Darth Nub, Pocky Gom, Liquid Robin, and DQA, you're going to need some high finishes and stat.
Amde, if you want to take a bot for here just to keep things a little spicy going into Game 6, I'm sure that Bryce and Dan would love for that to happen. So if you are Team Bryce, Team Dan, just go ahead and eat like a 6 here, and let's make the lobby extra interesting going into 6.
Hey, I'm down to see it right now. Dawnbringers. I feel like we haven't seen really Dawnbringers at all so far this tournament.
I was reading I keep calling it fun. I mean Tactician's Crown. I was reading a funny comment where somebody called Nidalee basically reverse Force of Nature or reverse Tactician's Crown, in which playing her means you're down a unit because she's very bad right now. And I thought it was very funny. I wanted to share that with everybody because I also think Nidalee's the worst unit in the game right now, which is unfortunate. I love Nidalee.
They better be the worst unit in the game. They nerfed it like 4 times.
They've nerfed Nidalee a lot. They've nerfed Astral a lot. And rest in peace, Nidalee. Your negative presence on the board. You should actually get extra points if you're able to win with Nidalee on your final board.
She dominated the metagame for like patches. Every single time it was like nerf to Nidalee, nerf to Nidalee, Nidalee 3, Nidalee 3, Nidalee 3. This unit crushed the game for way too long. This is a 1-cost unit.
It was very strong, and I'm glad it has been nerfed into the ground because it was way too easy to hit. And
ooh.
It's a good amount of gold here. Nami, rough unit. Oh, here we go. You were wrong. You said no, and Mort Dog said yes.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
We got a prismatic lobby. All right. So when you're in this spot, let's say that you could assume you're going into a prismatic lobby. What is the number 1 thing that you would want to see?
Well,
quick, right now. You have to pick.
Number 1, prismatic. I love getting level up. I think that is.
Ooh.
I think that most people would agree. You get level up, you can go fast 9, fast 8, and you roll it down. And you hit, you go first. If you miss, you go 8th. It is great. I love high octane TFT, and nothing matches it quite like that. We got best friends coming in here with a double cloak bow start.
What do you do with that situation?
Oh wow! We have to pass. Okay, I love this play here. I think this is excellent, and this is one of my favorite things to do. I've seen people do this with multiple comps. Usually it's best with set, but also very good here on Aatrox. Aatrox 3 is one of these units that can just snowball you and let you go fast 8, fast 9. We got a 3-star Aatrox carrying us here.
Holy smokes, this is... You said you loved a high-octane lobby, and you haven't at this point. We have Cavalier Spatula on the other side of the board as well. Robin taking a hit here. This Aatrox is going to absolutely carry to that. This is like a coast to 8, it feels like.
Yeah, expectations out the window. Unfortunately, it is another needlessly large gem. If that had been, say, Draven's Axe, this game would just be over. This thing would just perma-stack it for so long. But the needlessly big gem is still going to be good going into endgame here. This Aatrox is going to be sitting on this board for quite a while. I do expect it to transition out eventually. But the rest of the lobby is looking at Darth Nub and praying they don't get him. Though, again, it is a prismatic lobby, so other people are also theoretically going to be much stronger. But this 3-star Aatrox with a Hodge is going to be difficult to take down early. We have the immediate cap slam. That is a very, very strong Anivia.
Whoa. Double crit with the Cavalier Spatula. Amde is in a fantastic spot in this one as well. You're not happy to like lose this round by any means, but I don't think you're disappointed in Amde's seat right now.
Yeah, that Aatrox, that's like the shyest Aatrox right now, and everybody else in this lobby is like G2. You're getting like a full 4-person ultimate. I'm sure a few people in chat hopefully understand that reference, but that is a big Aatrox there. I love seeing stuff like that early. Aatrox 3, it's so fun. I think that you can also do that with High Roller. Get some dice and you just roll for that 3-star unit right away. It's really fun to see, and I'm glad somebody did it. This is going to give us a really interesting lobby because a lot of people are going to take more health than damage than they expect when they run into stuff like that.
Goodness gracious. I can't wait for y'all to see these augments across the board. There is not a single bad augment, I think, across the board right now. Everybody has something that is valuable.
Yeah, a lot of good fun in this lobby. We're sitting here with a cybernetic, and this is going to be a little bit of extra attack damage across the board. By a little bit, I mean a lot. And so what you want to pair this with your Pocky Gom is, from now in this spot, any augment you get that can offer extra items is going to be super welcome. It's just going to help pair up with this augment super well. And if you can able to get the endgame spot where you're able to slap on everybody, it's so much extra health and damage.
Yeah, and in Pocky's spot, you're hoping that you just see more cybernetic the entire way through as well. You know, stuff like that helps. Even he did only kick off with 2 item components at the start, so that is like a bit of a low roll, I think, considering that cybernetic was the take here. Bertasaurus already on 5 with the double thieves gloves here as well, and this is a big hit that Bertasaurus is delivering to Pocky Gom, and I feel like this is one of the biggest things that keeps happening in prismatic lobbies. Is if you are on the lost streak angle, you have a reason to have to kick that around super fast. It's because when you're losing rounds, you tend to lose with a much harder hit.
Yeah, and DQA was upset with you earlier for the Prismatic Lobby. He's sitting at 74 health, which is about as low as it's gonna get at this point in the game. And DQA, what did he draw? So he drew Cybernetic as well. It's unfortunately not gonna have as much value early game because you don't have enough items to really spread out. You don't have. It's just the value is much lower than some of the other augments we're gonna see coming in right now.
It'll shift across with time. And I cannot wait to see how these unfolds. Gosh, when the pressure is this high, I just love it too. Really, honestly, when I have to take a look at it from a top-down perspective, though, I feel like Darth Nub is coming out in number 1 right now with the 3-star on the Shiver scale. And I feel like the second one is actually Amde with the double crit and the Cavalier Spatula. Your definition in terms of your direction is really defined, and you have a very powerful aspect of that. So as soon as that is able to kick off, you're going to start demolishing boards if you can put it to place. So I feel like, in my head, those are the 2 that I'm looking at the most for some expectation.
Yeah, Bird Spot's also extremely good here. He's got double Thieves Gloves already. I think this is one of the more boring augments to take early if I'm playing, but it's very strong, especially if you're able to get a couple 2-star units in that can utilize it right off the bat. He's also got a Sunfire and a Spark already. If anybody's going to take down Darth Nub, this is going to be it. Because the one thing you need to have is anti-healing to deal with this Aatrox, and he's got it right there, and he's got some stall, he's got some backline damage, and so we'll see if he's able to take down this Aatrox. It's going to be pretty close here. You see it gets another cast up, but the anti-healing, yeah, it goes down. But the rest of the board is still up. It's going to be pretty close here. I don't think there's enough damage to take down the set, though. I do expect Darth Nub to take this loss here.
Senna's not getting challenged at this point, and Senna's about to cast again.
That's very unfortunate for Darth Nub. If you are taking something like Think Fast into an Aatrox, you do want to be win streaking this whole stage, because at this point, the transition options are very awkward for him.
Wow, Bertasaurus here. Able to break that up. That is a huge win for Bertasaurus. Like, that is a game-shaping style of win.
Yeah, Bert is that's gonna be the biggest threat. He's looking at the lobby at this point. He's got 3 people he should be scouting for. Kurumx looking at 98, probably has a fairly strong board cobbled together. But Bert is looking quite good here. He's got the Rage Wing on the line. He's got a lot of items. He got anti-healing. He has everything you really need early game, and he just rolled some pretty good items on his Thieves Gloves for this particular fight. He goes against Amde's double crit Cavalier.
Yeah, Amde kind of cobbling together like a back and forth, the seesaw win-loss here. But everything, when it's piled up this way, that is the crucial hit for Senna. Just so much damage spread out along that little radius there. And just these number of 2-stars, it's just too hard to overcome. Bertasaurus kicking off with a 5 win streak here. And let me tell you what, Bertasaurus is not a player you are happy to see with a 5 win streak in a prismatic lobby. That is dangerous for the rest of these.
Bert's a great tempo player, very good at flexing and just playing strongest possible board, and Thieves Gloves is great for a player like that who's able to just get good units on the board and just need decent items. Clear here is showing the Varus angle. We've talked about it before. He's been one of the only players who has leaned into the Varus, and he was able to nab a win with it before. Having Best Friends, one of the better augments you can get for Varus 3. A lot of it's still going to ride on the next couple augments he's going to get, but I do think in order to win with Varus, you need 3 good augments, 3 good combat augments. But his econ's good. He's able to manage a 5 loss streak. He's got good items already set up for the Varus, and this, if there was a spot in which Varus could do well, this would be it.
Here's already demonstrated a pretty deep understanding of this line. And this is, again, kind of what caught my attention, but I remember when Gangly was telling me about this, he predicted this way before he saw Clear actually start to perform at this one. He said, hey, keep it in mind, I feel like he knows quite a bit here. Like, he's forcing through on the Varus angle, but a lot can happen from this player's perspective.
Great items here. So he finishes off the Winsu here. He gets a belt for anti-healing. It's definitely a strong spot for him.
Use a Shioyu for any amount of time? Do you not want to? Do you want to take another loss for the economy perspective?
Oh, this is interesting. Level 5 roll. I'm curious. I would love to ask him why he chose to roll at 5 here instead of just sacking another, because at this point, you're just going to lost streak anyway. Would you not just go 6 next turn and roll for 2 stars? But
might just be like the Jade pickup idea, like maybe you 2-star the Taric, plus you get like a Gnar or a Nico or something, and it changes your mind. I think it's like lots of little details that are being taken into consideration, but Jade plus the best friends doesn't feel like it's possible.
Yeah, you definitely don't play Jade if you have best friends. It's a very interesting roll there. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning was. He ends up losing anyway. There's only a couple rolls, so it's not the end of the world. And a lot of it just comes down to what this augment's going to be.
Well, here we go. I'm terrified of the idea that it's a second prismatic one.
I'm not. I would love to see it.
Oh, goodness.
And, badge. Okay, so we're looking at 3 decent augments here. Tiny Titans from this spot is going to give him a lot of health. But like I said, with Varus, you do want triple combat augment. And the Tiny Titan's going to buy you some time. And Best Friends is a strong combat augment that's going to, big time, a lot of reliance on that third augment. It needs to be something very good, like a Triforce, like a Press the Attack. Otherwise, this is, as I mentioned yesterday, a C tier comp at best. And you're playing with augments that are maybe not ideal. This could be a quick bot for clear, especially if he's unable to hit this Varus quickly.
Yeah, this is a lot of misses on some of these rolls right here. You one 2-star in play.
Yeah, your board's 1-star, and you're in a prismatic lobby. Even with the Tiny Titans, you're about to take 10 into 10 into 10. 3 turns later, you are down a silver augment.
Yeah, this could be really dangerous. Not a strong pan out so far.
Yeah, where's Kurumx gets Handshake. The Stand United is going to be one of the best augments you can get for silver options. And with the Jade Soul as well, this is a very easy 9 Jade game for Kurumx.
Kurumx is gonna lose this fight, it looks like, though. Wow.
Clear has a very good understanding of what's strong or not, because I did not think this Varus board looked remotely good, but it was able to handle Kurum's board quite easily. And it's not like Kurum's sitting on low gold, too, so it's not like Kurum's just full gold rolling, skipping levels and everything. So props to Clear for having a good understanding of when Varus can stabilize and when it can't. Because I think a lot of people would look at this board and agree with me that it does not look very good. Oh,
QA sitting on a lot of.
Is that a Varus contest? Oh no!
Whoa. It doesn't even look like this is necessarily temporary from this perspective. Like he rolled again there. Is that right?
Oh no! DQA is about to go 8th and pull Clear down with him. That is not. What, you're contesting Varus in this meta? Oh my god, that is not ideal.
I feel like this is one of the spots where the reputation idea is really getting to me as well, where I'm like, against Clear, no less? Like, this was a player who demonstrated that this was something they understood. This is something they favored.
DQA's, I think it was Dan who called him DQ 8th last game. Maybe taking that a little too seriously here, because this is, hey. I was talking crap about Clear spot. This spot looks even worse.
I will say that DQA does have to have, like, back-to-back top finishes to have a shot at top 4 here. We're looking like first.
Yeah, but if you have to go first, I'm not looking at the list of comps I can play and be like, oh yeah, let's play Varus. I gotta get a first.
This could be temporary. Hang on, this is not a permanent idea yet.
Okay, true. He could pivot into Xayah and still go 8th.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
No
rebuttal.
It is a rough spot for DQA, and I hope he proves me wrong. It's not a spot that I would want to be in. I will say that.
Across a lot of items got taken on this last one. Darth Nub leaned into the shimmer scale aspect as well. I'm excited to see where that one goes.
That's an interesting spat. So the only reason he took it is because I'm on Nico and he's playing Jade. Because Spat is very scuffed on Jade comps. There's not really much you want to do with it. Sometimes an assassin Shioyu can be kind of good, but otherwise, it's mostly just you love getting the Nico. Nico is again the linchpin of that comp. You do want to 2-star it quickly.
Robin going up to 7 and starting the roll. Ooh, very tempting. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's Dawnbringer Determination, as you see in the bug on the bottom left there. He has the Cavalier spat already as well. So a very good spot to lean into it. So finding the early Deja is huge. You do want to get the next 2 in, though. The threshold between 4 and 6 Mirage is massive, because at 4 Mirage, you're only healing once. But at 6 Mirage, you heal twice, which is a significant difference. But Robin's board's looking quite strong still. I don't know if it have enough to take out this Aatrox 3. Now it has the Titans as well.
I mean, it's a Cavalier Talon that's in place, though, so that really doesn't take a ton of damage when it recovers from its fanned out aspect here. This Deja, I don't think it has the time, but it might have the damage, honestly.
It's pretty close. It's coming down the line as a cast,
wow!
and it does. But I don't know if it's enough yet. It's about to be knocked down by that Shen. And something really interesting is that Darth Nub was able to pair that Aatrox 3 with a Shimmer Scale Silver Augment. That is extremely lucky for him. Now that he doesn't have to worry about what transition he's going to make out of this Aatrox 3, he can just commit to the 7 Shimmer Scale angle, and he's able to run this Aatrox for the remainder of the game.
That's a big deal. And this is going to take a little bit of time for Robin to clear up. He is focused on economy here for at least a couple rounds while this gets cleaned up, but Robin's position here, I think, is quite strong. The front line here with the Sunfire plus the Redemption on the Nunu, that's going to keep that alive for a while. The Cavalier Spatula with this Mirage comp is also, to me, just such a big highlight. Like, anything you need to be whizzing around this board and dealing damage, you have the idea for that now. In addition to that, it's highlighting your front line as well. So if he can find the devastating charge with this Cavalier Spatula, that is a massive difference on that third augment idea.
Yeah, Clear sitting on just 20 gold. He's playing Varus. It's contested by DQA. This is not where you want to be. He does have the Nami 3, but Nami 3, Nami 2 feels like no diff sometimes. And I'll be curious to see if he's able to actually stabilize from the spot, but it does feel like he got a little unfortunate to have somebody contest it. And he's going to take a loss here as well. So, rough spot for Clear. Robin, as you mentioned, is going to be good in this spot. He's be able to hit 40 on Wolves, be able to hit 50 after Wolves, and it should be able to push for 8 by 4-5 at latest, and then send it for a Yasuo. If he's able to hit another Yasuo this time, the Robin, you could definitely see stabilizing with Dawnbringer. Mirage is a very strong variant of it.
Second cybernetic augment for Pocky Gom here as well.
Yeah, Pocky,
and a pretty nice spread of these items too. I'm kind of liking where Pocky Gom's spot here.
Yeah, Pocky has a lot of options here. Double cybernetic, and he's got some items on this Shioyu. He's got a Corki in the backline. This is a very common comp that people have been playing lately, is Corki with Deja in front of it instead of playing traditional Siphon or traditional Itis. But I do think this is one of a very strong alternate type of comp you can play here.
Very nice too on the items. Like a lot of options available here.
Yeah, you can see
Pocky
him roll here,
definitely
sitting on a pair of Corkis.
Ooh.
He's just sitting on too many 1-stars, so he has to roll. And now he's got a lot of pairs on his bench. I would expect to see him roll to 20, maybe even 10 if he starts getting more and more pairs.
I feel like this composition's pretty happy to take this style of line, though. Like, it's very much is about like tempo and then like a slow bleed out for the top 4 spots. Pocky Gom does need 2 strong performances, but he doesn't necessarily have to have 2 like astonishingly strong performances. Just 2 that really matter. And so if he can pick up one here and then find himself in a position for a first or a second in the next game, that's a top 4 spot for Pocky. Yeah,
sitting at 68, I actually think that second Corki might have baited him a little bit. I do think he may have rolled. Well, maybe he has to roll that. If you're looking at, he's getting slapped right now. So at this point,
slapped by Bertasaurus, his board's just still nutso right now.
He is still able to make 20 if he sells these Talons. I would be a little surprised to see him keep the Talon pair. But you could definitely play Talon over Corki instead. So maybe he's just going to play whichever one he hits. And maybe center it around the Shioyu. I think he might have liked to see a bit more on that roll. It was a very unfortunate roll. He had 2 Corkis early and pretty much hit nothing of value on the send down after that. Whew. You do love seeing Blessing here. He does not have the Bloodthirster yet. So that's going to be nice for that. DQA, 3 stars to Varus and the Alawi on 4. So DQA, Clear is fuming right now that somebody actually contested a comp that's not particularly good, and that's a huge hit. This Corki hit, this Sona hit, this is going to really stabilize Pocky's spot at this point. He's still able to make 10, and you should see him sit and try and econ back up to go for 8 by 5-1 at this point.
Yeah, this composition definitely does not focus as much on the Cannoneer aspect for the bonus damage. It's supplemental damage from the Corki's aspect. It just sits in the back and has the Jade thing going on. You get the Revel with the Evoker from the Sona in this one. This is a very common build that I was going for in the last 2 patches, and honestly, it just feels very powerful. Like, once you get pieced around this board, your losses tend to be fairly weak, and your wins, they crop up pretty often here, especially with that Celestial Blessing. Plenty of time to kind of slowly bleed out and get yourself into a top 4, top 3 spot.
I'm a little surprised to see him not slam the glove on the Sona here. It's a lot of extra health, a bit of extra AD as well. And the glove isn't really going to be great anywhere else. Maybe he's saving for a Hodge or an IE even for this.
Look at this Aatrox. Full Titans plus the death cap here. The healing is so much, but if you just get CC'd to death.
Oh, it does half damage, but yeah, it's just getting full punched. Full combo.
Wow. That's one of the first losses Darth Nub has taken as well. To 85 off of that one, and that's a pretty big loss, honestly.
That felt like one of those like fighting community games where that Shioyu just full juggled that guy. I believe that's the term. Look at me. I'm an esports knowledgeable person.
Daigo.
Oh, Aatrox with
Tell
the
me how
parry.
old you are, but don't tell me how old you are. Yeah, that's what that one is.
Oh, Kurumx,
Pocky
2
Gom's looking
stars.
good here.
Kurumx 2 stars to Shioyu down there. Yeah, DQA hit the 3-star Alawi, 3-star Varus. Unfortunately, he's still playing Varus and Alawi, so we'll see if that is able to reel him up. I think a lot of it comes down to what the third augment is. And he did manage the Celestial, which I think is one of the better augments you can get for it. And he also has 3-star Nami. I mean, DQA hit everything. He's still level 6, unfortunately.
Board, it looks really good.
It looks quite good, but he has no money. And so it's hard to see how he scales up from this, but I do think even if he wins out the remainder of this stage, by stage 5 it's going to really catch up to him, and he's only at 38 health. You can see he's already struggling with this fight here. This looks like it could be a loss. Yeah, here comes another juggle, and it's,
oh boy.
This Varus is about to be finished off here. Like
boy.
I said, you hit the Varus early, and you're still playing Varus Alawi. I do not understand why we have 2 people leaning towards Varus in this lobby. I don't get it.
Darth Nub with 7 Shimmer Scale as well. You called it out. Kurumx with double handshake as well. O-Cage business. Bertasaurus, is that a Pandora's items or a Pandora's bench?
That would be Pandora's bench, and so that's gonna be with Pandora's bench. We've talked about this. We saw earlier. We saw somebody running. I can't remember who at this point, but somebody was playing the. They had the 3-star Orin, 3-star Porky, 3-star Nico. So you play around 4 cost or 8 cost. Dragons, I think, are very, very strong to play around it. So I'll be curious to see what Bert ends up going for with that Pandora's bench. Yeah, Darth Nub sitting with 40 gold, level 8, is starting to stack items on all of his carries here. Yeah, this talent 2 is going to be able to come in and just flex into this board quite nicely.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Yasuo comes in to give Warrior for the board as well. This is going to be a lot of damage items. This is a really interesting spot for Darth Nub. This is not a spot you expect to see very often. I would not be surprised if he's never played this spot before this set, having a 3-star Aatrox this early.
I wouldn't be surprised if no one's ever played this spot before, just in general on the TFT server at this point. Like, how often does these kind of situations crop up? It's the beauty of TFT is everything's so different on it.
Now somebody somebody for sure in like gold elo double up has done it. Is as we learned from Amde. I'm sure somebody in chat here is like, oh yeah, I play Aatrox 3 every other game. It's my thing. I'm gold 3 with 2 LP, but Aatrox 3.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Time is a real thing. Look at Robin picking up Cybernetic uplink. I feel like is a big upgrade to this team as well. Like the mana, a huge aspect from a situation like that is we start to see this lobby starting to tighten up a little bit. It was like a big precipice of a drop off in 2nd place to 3rd place, and now it's starting to even up across that where it's cascading downwards.
Oh,
instead,
wow.
Speaking a lot for it. And this is exactly what I want to talk about was the Pandora's bench aspect from Bertasaurus' side. In Jade Cup, we saw them have to go all in for a Deja aspect, and they made Deja 3 in the final game of Jade Cup, and they lost to a Soraka 3 at the end of that one as well, no less. Like, pretty unusually bizarre scenario that ended up cropping up in that one. If you haven't seen the game, I encourage you to go back and watch Jade Cup, the final day of that one. It was an absolutely nutso day. But Bertasaurus, every single time I've seen them have a Pandora's bench, it has always been just chase down 3 stars that don't make any sense because the Pandora's bench opens that window.
It's really exciting. You see he's really close to this Itis 3 already. One of the things that's nice about rerolling dragons, there's only 4 of them in the pool. So you can only theoretically, there's always a 25% chance that you're going to roll into this Itis here. And as soon as he hits that Itis 3, then he can sit and he can push for levels. I'm a little surprised to see that he's not rerolling one of these Talons, for example, to try and push for this Corky that's still stuck at 1 star. Would be curious to see what the rationale is behind that. He's got 12 gold just sitting on the bench there not being rerolled.
Could be that you want the 2-star to reroll first.
And Robin here, while we were raising, Robin was able to, I would assume from this spot, if he's still level 7, he probably rolled it a bit on 4-1, was unable to hit anything, but he does have the early Yasuo, and so now he's got quite a bit of gold, and he's able to level pretty easily here. And he does need to hit this Deja 2 at this point in the game. It's Para Yasuo, so we'll take that. Oh, Deja waiting room, unfortunately. 7 Nunus. Soraka is going to be able to buy quite a bit of time. Yeah, I would expect to see that come in. And at this point, it's a little awkward. You don't have any Deja pairs. You probably do just sell one of these Lulus, make 10 gold, and then at this point, I think you roll again once you hit a natural Deja 2, but otherwise it's really difficult to just magically find 2 Dejas out of thin air.
Yeah, no, it really is. This is one of the toughest spots, I think, in the game to identify, like, what you're supposed to do. Are you supposed to be chasing down the idea of, like, well, a 3-star Nunu is still a big spike, so maybe I should just donkey roll for this. You have a pair of Yasuo still, but there's a carousel coming up and you're on a healthy life total. Like, there's a lot of angles here I think that you can justify pretty much down the line, and the thing I'm seeing here was the takeoff of this Treasure Dragon, where I was a bit curious about it. It felt a little bit weak to me, but when you take into account the cybernetic value of this, having those items just across the team, the Yone is the one unit that doesn't care about that right now. He has no mana value whatsoever, so that's there purely for the trait value. Everything else now is taking advantage of cybernetic uplink across the board, and you're in a spot where once this gets 2-starred, you are in a pretty strong spot for a top 2 finish.
Yeah, there's a couple of options here for DQA. For Robin. Even if he doesn't hit this Deja early, he could still hit this 3-star Nunu, and that can stabilize him for a while. He can hit his 2-star Yasuo at this point, and that can stabilize him for a while. And you're seeing here, as we hit stage 5, I was talking about how the Varus would start to fall off. It still might be able to pull off this victory here, though. It's going to be pretty tight. I think it does end up losing. Like I said, the scaling potential for Varus comps is just so low. I think it does have potential if you're able to hit it quickly, but if you're sending it at 6 and you're stuck at level 6 on 4-1, it can be very hard. And there is the Idas 3. You're going to see shields across the whole team for this unit. Woo!
A huge find for Bertasaurus now. 3 items sitting on the bench, no less. So Bloodthirster getting added just for the sake, I think, of just that little bit of extra damage plus some shielding value here. What do you go for next?
So the issue with this spot, though, is Bert doesn't have much damage on the backline. He is fortunate that it is gem. This is one of those situations where you do like the fact that it's gem because that helps add damage to your team. But his Corki's still on 1-star. Even if it's 2 stars, it's sitting on Thieves' Gloves, which isn't ideal in terms of damage. You see the shield goes off. It just gives so much shielding to the entire team that it's so hard to break through. But because the damage is so low, if the other team is able to push through it, it can be a difficult spot. Okay, and there goes the Ascension. There should be enough damage, and DQA should take the loss here. Yeah, the shielding is way too much. But it is getting perma-stun, though. Oh, but another shield goes off. It's a combo of...
Really, I mean, the damage on Bertasaurus' side is just so low.
Yeah, he has no damage, but the overtime's going to do enough. DQA is going to take a big loss here. It's going to send him directly to 1 health. Like I said, him and Clear kind of held hands playing one of the lesser comps in the game, and they're going to be punished for that. Oh, 2-star Ocean early. Wow. Wow, he transitioned off of the 3-star Aatrox. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. He could have stuck with 7. This is a really interesting spot. I'm very curious to see what happened that led to this decision. But this is now
all the Idases got found?
This is an extremely strong board to be at this point in the game. A really interesting game played from Darth Nub here, who started the game with Shimmer, went to 7 Shimmer, and then scaled down entirely. He's not even playing Shimmers anymore. Sold the Aatrox. And is now sitting on a Ocean 2 at level 8. That is a very fortunate find for him.
And I will say, if there's one thing that counters an Idas 3 in an angle like this, it is the time that the Ocean actually casts in this spot. You want to time it so that it absolutely misses the shield on this spot. But right now, it's going directly into shields.
But it's still going to blow up the backline.
Crippled, though.
There's just not enough damage on Bert's board. And so this is one of the issues. Any camp that can circumvent the front line and just get right on the back line. Oh, but yeah, Sunfire and Spark is enough. And that's going to finish him off. But Bert is still stable. Like, Idas 3 is no joke. To be able to beat Darth Nub's board is really strong. And it has perfect conditions to beat him, too.
Everyone alive at the Stage 5 carousel.
There is a Yasuo on the board. There's a Corki. I know a few units that people still need to be able to pair up here.
Corki with a Cannoneer, no less.
Yeah, it's a really great pickup there. I would be surprised to see Bert get it, but maybe... yeah, so it's gone here. The Yasuo still for Robin. I believe that gives Robin Yasuo too. That is an extremely fortunate hit here. That Robin is able to get Yasuo too. The Bruiser Crest, not ideal, but you can easily play an Ornn. You can play a Shen with it. And yeah, you'll see the Yasuo 2 for Robin. That is going to give him a ton of power. He should feel very comfortable with this spot now.
With just the 2-star hunt has begun for Kurum's side, and it looks like it has not been here for quite some time. Kurum is is hanging on by a thread right now, and this lobby is no joke. There's so much power across the board. It feels like Xiaoyu, where this truly shines, is when the boards are strong, but they're not out of control.
So one of the issues is you see nobody in this lobby playing Siphon. It's a lot of front-to-back comps, and I think this is just a misread in terms of, or I mean, honestly, it's just misfortune, because you're taking the Jade Soul early. There isn't really much options for transition, but almost everybody else in the lobby is playing a front-to-back comp, which bodes very poorly for this Xiaoyu, who needs to go from front to back. He's just going to get stuck often on front line, but he did manage, this Aoshin might just never cast.
The Edge of Night plus the Shroud. It pushed the
Here is
Xiaoyu to that corner.
I don't know if it's just not enough. Darth Nub was in such a strong position, and he's staring at a potential 8th here, despite hitting an Aoshin 2 with pretty much everything upgraded. That just speaks to the power of a prismatic lobby.
Wow. There is just... This is just out of control right now. I mean, depending on how these last matchups pan out here, so... We're looking at Darth Nub's board. They could play against DQA. If they do not play against DQA, there is a chance that we're seeing everyone alive for stage 6.
Yeah, this is a wild situation to be in. Like, if you look at this board by Darth Nub, it looks so strong that I am very surprised to see that if this ends up being an 8th, I would just be scratching my head. But that's, again, this is just a prismatic lobby. Sometimes that's just what happens. It doesn't matter how strong you are, because other people are going to be even stronger. Like, what happens if he draws Robin here, who already has a Yasuo 2, who already has that Deja online? So he's DQA, but unfortunately he eats the full Shroud, and that is gonna be you hate seeing that. This Aoshin's gonna take forever to cast. It's gonna hit hard when it does, but no Shojin. Oof.
Soraka gives an extra 2 health. That's basically no difference here.
He's bought a decent amount of time. It does look like this might get the cast off, but it might. Okay, so it does get it off. It depends on this. Yeah, the Varus goes down. But it's not enough. Everything's left on 1 health. DQA is gonna survive. That's gonna send Darth Nub to an 8th, even though he has 2-star Aoshin. What a lobby! That's a Shroud gap. That's just all it is. He just got hit by the Shroud, and that sends him straight to an 8th. Because he could have easily stabilized still and won some fights, but that's how it rolls sometimes.
DQA on 1, Clear on 1, Pocky Gom on 9, Kurumx on 14. And then a big jump. Amde on 37, Bertasaurus on 38, Robin on 41. What a tight lobby. 6 players alive as we head into stage... Or, I'm sorry, 7 players alive as we head into stage 6.
The 2 Varus players not going 8th, looking at each other, breathing a sigh of relief here. Sitting, looking at... They're like in the back seat of the car. I'm like, wow, we're okay?
The true stand united.
Yeah. They may, however, still go 6-7, but hey, maybe anything can happen at this point in the game. All it takes is one good positioning, especially with DQA has that Shroud here. That is going to be Nunu 3. Robin is still stuck on this Deja 1. I would expect him to hit it here, and he does. So the Robin spot, I would say, looks extremely good. He's got one of the... Oh my god, that... Oh, Bert just re-rolled his itis. That is... I didn't even think about doing that. That is so smart.
During the creep round.
So he just did during the creep round. He just stuck it on. Oh my god! So that's a 3-star Siphon.
Bert is an absolute genius.
I am very impressed. And I don't think many of us would have thought, oh, let's re-roll our itis. But here's Bert. Wow, what a play!
I mean, what dragon comes up that's bad there?
I think with those items, I would not have liked to see Deja. But the other, but this is probably best case. Oh my god! And it's gonna lose.
Oh my.
It just got... Well, I don't even think that was particularly close. That 3-star Siphon just got rolled.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
what's going on here? Pocky Gom is out. The Varus is going to clutch the round.
Oh my god.
Both Varus players still alive.
Both Varus players 5 and 6. He's level 7 too. That doesn't even make sense. But again, this is a matchup issue for Kurumx. It's a really bad matchup for the Xiaoyu, especially the position's a little awkward. Xiaoyu needs to circumvent the front line, and it is unfortunately unable to. Those Nidalee's looking nice. This could be a nice Nidalee pivot if you really think about it.
Bertasaurus hitting a lot of 2-stars on that one. It looks like some transition is taking place. Getting fixed up for that 3-star Siphon you have.
Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe it's okay, I do think surely Varus does not win again here. Surely it loses to this Caviasso, this 2-star Dawnbringer Deja.
I mean, 2 Rudons here. You're kind of chipping away at the rest of the board. But I will say this sweep is going to be powerful. ZZ Rot kind of directing the hit
sucks.
from the Deja as well.
The positioning is very awkward for this Deja. So Deja is finally on this back line.
Oh,
it's going to be very close. He still has 1 heal left, though. I believe this sweep should finish it. Oh.
It did not!
It's
but
stuck,
the second sweep!
Another sweep. Okay, and there it goes. Oh, but they were slipped up. Kurumx actually took a bigger loss, so DKI slipped into a 4th somehow. That is incredible. We have a 4th and a 5th from a Varus contest. That is not something I would expect. That should have been a 7th, 8th, but hey, they were able to navigate their position and play it, so kudos to them for making that comp kind of work, I guess. 4th and 5th for contested Varus, you certainly take that.
Bertasaurus hunting down the 3-star Soraka here with the mage emblem as well. Having this Siphon be able to try to carry through on that position. Robin at 45, 37-24 for Robin, Amde, and Bertasaurus respectively. 3 players eliminated on the final round. DQA, honestly, kind of playing the idea of just the tournament spoiler at this point, you know, competing for the prize dollars almost exclusively given the point totals from here. But at every single step of the way, something volatile feels like it's in place. A 3-star Siphon already showing that it's contested in this one. However, in this particular fight, it's looking like it could shine through.
Yeah, it's going to get there. It's going to get the full bite here. It just did a little too much damage. Oh, wow. 6,000 damage out of that bite. Nunu goes down. It's at this point, it's Bertasaurus versus the Dejas, and both Deja players are looking very strong, but Bertasaurus is rolling for 3 stars here. That 3-star Siphon, these fights still being this close just shows you how powerful Deja can be given the right items with the right variant.
You know what you take in these situations right here. I'm kind of looking at this. I was looking at this mage special, seeing if it was viable anywhere.
Be very surprised if it was. At this point, Robin already has Yasuo too. We'll see what item he goes for. Shiv is always going to be nice to have if he doesn't have any shred already. Yeah, he does have the Ionic Spark on the front line. Oh, this is Amde's board. Yeah, getting this Yasuo Cav Spat is going to be good. You're going to stick this on the Yone now. There's going to be 5 Cavaliers, and the 5 Cavalier spike's actually quite big, so this is a very tanky board on top of the Dawnbringer, on top of Second Wind, on top of Celestial Blessing. It's going to be really hard to cut through this. You do need whatever unit is applying your anti-healing to stay alive for an extended period of time in this fight, so that's the key thing to be watching for here.
Yeah, the Cavalier jump from 4 to 5. 85 armor and 85 magic resist for Cavalier 4. 110 each on Cavalier 5. A massive jump.
Yeah, you do see the Sunfire Cape is on the Siphon. Unfortunately, Siphon doesn't have any way to heal, so it is immediately focused by this Deja, and it's going to go down instantly here. That Siphon got 2 cast off, didn't do very much here. That's going to be the difference as this Deja is going to clean up. Bertasaurus needs to be a little careful with that Siphon position. It can't be targeted instantly by the Deja.
Bertasaurus had 8 Sonas with 2 4s being rolled on the bench.
Nope.
Not there, but does have a couple natural rolls here as well.
Nope.
Not it.
And that's unlucky. But he needs to be a little more careful with this positioning. I think on some levels you want it to be on the same side because it has a chance of dashing in and just one-shotting the Deja. But if it doesn't one-shot the Deja just keeps aggro on the Siphon. Siphon has no Bloodthirst, has no Hodge, has no way of really healing. So once it takes damage, it's going to keep that damage, and you have to be a little careful with it.
This is such a crucial fight for Bertasaurus here. Looking at Liquid Robin's side.
Bert does get the Ghost. We have seen Ghost be very dominant this whole weekend. Robin,
true story.
Being level 9 here with the Yasuo 2, I would lean towards his board with the Nunu 3 as well. I would expect Robin to have the stronger of the Deja variants, but you never know on Deja boards.
Soraka here. That little bit of healing that Soraka is providing is actually feeling like a big deal here at the end of the day, too. This Nunu is staying topped off because of the redemption, suppressing some of the AoE damage that's taking place here, and then gets to that back line, isolates that Deja. Big win for Robin in this spot. Bertasaurus gets a win as well.
With that spot, that basically guarantees a top 2 for Robin because Bert and Amde will fight off one more time before Robin has even a chance of dying. I would expect Robin to guarantee top 2 at this spot. Very good for him. He is somebody that was really struggled the first half of the day and has been able to bounce back phenomenally here.
This is a big deal for Robin here, too. Robin's sitting in 7th place of the 8 players today with 15 points.
I love seeing this. I think he needs to reroll this. I think Idis is actually better in this matchup than the Siphon. You've watched the Siphon just kind of get rolled. I think Idis can actually stall long enough, and so we'll see what Dragon this rolls into. If it's Deja, a Deja 3 sweep, even with bad items, could still be good, but a lot rides on this. That oh is tragic. It re-rolls into itself.
The Sona 3 is going to feel like it's so crucial here. The Corki 3 feels like it could be crucial here. Something's got to give.
Yeah, so he really, if he got the itis there, maybe he could have stabilized. But unfortunately, the Siphon says, "You thought you could get rid of me? Not so fast." And comes right back and is about to just get one tapped.
Here we go. Robin with the reposition aspect.
Yeah.
Strong in that back line.
Okay, so this time he does eat the Shroud, but at least the Siphon isn't going to immediately be killed off by this Deja here. So we'll see where it charges. That's one charge. And then now it's getting focus fired.
That's a lot of CC that's happening.
It gets a second charge off. Doesn't quite hit anything useful. And nope, it just gets eaten. And the whole sweep. Yeah, just unfortunately not enough. That is, maybe if the Siphon had perfect items, it could have contested these boards. But with kind of scuffed defensive items, we were praising Bertasaurus earlier for the shift away from the itis. But in hindsight, now that we have the privilege of doing so, I believe the itis would have been a little better into these two matchups. But it was hard at the time to predict which you players were going to make it to the final lobby, so I don't blame Bertasaurus. I think it was a really fascinating play, and maybe it got him the third. Maybe third was just his cap this game.
Very possible. Bertasaurus looking for back-to-back top fours to finish in the top 4 spot for this one and secure that spot at regionals. For Amde here, pretty much the same direction, securing top 4s to secure top 4 spot, albeit they are in a race for the first place finish here. So Amde finishing in the top 2 here, a major deal. They were already in the lead. And for Robin here, they need big back-to-back finishes to find themselves in a top 4 contention, and they are absolutely putting that together here in the last 2 games. Second place in the last game, looking like they could get first place in this game and set themselves up to come from an absolutely devastating start to the day and suddenly be in a position to find themselves at regionals.
A phenomenal comeback from Robin to take the game there. Amde, a second place finish, extends the lead he already had on the rest of the lobby. He is in great position to cancel more dinner and lunch plans with his girlfriend.